Hello class and welcome to another catch-up video. In today's video, we will continue with our lesson on evolution. We will begin by reviewing what we've learned already, and then we will introduce two new topics, one that is called natural selection, and the other that is called heredity. So what do we remember from evolution from our previous lessons? Do we remember who created and discovered this concept? That's right, Charles Darwin. Do you guys remember where he went and what he did there exactly? Well, he traveled to the Galapagos Islands off of South America. He left Britain in 1831 to study, collect rock, plant, and animal samples. Then, in 1859, Darwin started and published his book titled The Theory of Evolution by Natural Selection. Darwin went on to explain why two animals that should have looked the same were actually very different from each other, like these two finches. They live only miles apart, but because they live on two different islands with two different environments, their bodies evolved differently from each other. Now, Darwin went against every single standard in the scientific world when he published his book. Christians, and today as well, believed in something called creationism, where each animal is created separately, uniquely, and basically on purpose. Darwin proposed something else entirely, that animals respond to their environment, changing themselves to be better suited for that environment. Now, what happens to animals that can't survive in their environment? Sadly, they die out. They don't get enough food, or they can't fight well enough for a mate to have babies, or they're too weak to protect those babies. So others who are different and therefore stronger, who can get enough food but not too much, who can fight for a mate and provide for those babies will survive and pass those different and better characteristics down to those babies. Now let's watch this video about different animals and their mating habits.
Weighing almost a ton, they use power and speed to try and push each other off their feet. This male is lucky to escape a fatal stabbing. For the winner, the prize is a whole harem of females. The delicate-banded demoiselle knows that what every girl wants is fast-flowing water, rich in life-giving oxygen, as the best place to lay her eggs. Each male, in his shining metallic armour, is prepared to fight for the best patch in a graceful aerial competition. The victor has won a patch where the river riffles round a fallen branch. Faster running water that is just what the ladies are looking for. One by one, the stallion sees them off. The females had ringside seats, and his prowess has not gone unnoted.
So the passing down of physical and mental characteristics or traits to the next generation is called heredity. Heredity is why siblings look alike and similar to their parents or even their grandparents. In class, Alice actually brought up a great example. She told us all about how her parents and her siblings have blue eyes, but she shares green eyes with her grandmother. So that means even though Alice's parents don't show they are holding the green eye trait, they must be. See, there are many characteristics that can be passed down from parents to offsprings, like a widow's peak. Does it come to a point on your head, or is your hair straight across? Is your little finger straight or crooked when you splay your fingers out? Can you roll your tongue? Which thumb is on top when you clasp your hands together? Is your big toe the biggest toe, or is it actually the second toe that's bigger? Do your ear lobes hang free, or do they attach to the side of your head? And are your teeth close together, or do they actually have large gaps in between them? These are all actual things that can be passed down from parents to children, and so on and so forth. And here we have a very funny example of how we can end up being half of our parents. We have our alien dad, our human mother, and our hybrid child. Now let me introduce what a Punnett square is and how it can show you why Alice and her grandmother have green eyes while nobody else does. Basically, how such traits can be predicted. So you see, people hold two traits, one that is shown and one that isn't. One trait is passed down by our parents each, and that's why we have two, one from each. The one that we see is called dominant, and the one that we don't see is called recessive. For the recessive gene to show, we have to have two recessive genes. In Alice's case, we can assume that her parents have at least one recessive and one dominant. So if we make our Punnett square, we put dad at the top here, mom on the side, and like I said, assume that parents have one dominant and one recessive. We write it like this. And then we're going to fill in our blanks. We'll put a BB at the top, a BG at the bottom and the top right, and a GG for green at the bottom. And we can see that green eyes only have 25% chance of happening, while blue eyes have a 75% chance. Alright, let's practice a couple times now. Copy these 4 examples and the 3 on the next page on some paper and bring it into class for participatory points. Again, please copy these questions down and bring them into class for points.